first of all, how'd you come up with that name?
So one of my favorite books is called Into the Wild. It's about a true story guy named Chris McCandles, and when he goes out to live his dreams, he calls himself Alexander Supertramp. So when I started our channel in 2009, 2010, I was like, I'm going to go out and live my dreams of making movies. So Devin's my first name, and when I want to give homage to that whole idea of going out to pursue your dreams, Devin Supertramp, and that's how the channel was born.
So 2009, did you start this with the goal of having this be your career full-time for life?
I was actually working for another company called Brush. They were a tongue cleaner, and they were using social media. This is while I was going to college at film school. So the plan was always to do film, but they were using social media to launch their company, and they were using YouTube to launch their company as well. So that's when I saw the value and power of social media and YouTube. And this was kind of when YouTube was the Wild West. So I kind of got in at a good time. I was only making videos for fun, just with my friends, and they ended up luckily blowing up. It was never part of the plan. Like Devin Supertramp, it wasn't supposed to be anything. It was just going out and making stuff happen. And now it is what it is.
For those people that aren't familiar with your channel, the 2 or 3 may be watching, what do you do? What do you do on your videos?
Yeah, so we run a YouTube, Facebook, pretty much all over social media channels. And we do a lot of extreme sports all around the world. So it could be anything from launching someone off a 500-foot slip and slide off a cliff to playing football out of an airplane. So it's always just trying to think of things people have never seen before and try and basically make it larger than life, but also relatable as far as something people can kind of connect with a little bit as far as, I wish I could do that or something like that. And we travel all around the world creating content that we put on internet for free for everyone.
So back in 10 years ago, 2009, when you launched, I don't think there was Facebook video, or maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it was YouTube back then.
YouTube was big, kind of big, not as big as it is now. Was it just you going around with your own camera or a cell phone shooting these videos? Or
Yeah, so when I started back in the day, 2009, 2010, it was me, and I didn't even own a camera. Like, I was a poor college student, no joke. And I was borrowing other friends' cameras. And I was filming probably the first 10 videos. I didn't even own a camera, just borrowing everyone else's cameras. And then after the first couple of videos, though, they started going viral. People were sharing them all over the internet. And then I started getting hired all around the world to basically have product placement or work with other companies to promote their companies. And that's what made it so we could buy more equipment. But yeah, at that time, I'd say in the first 4 years, it was pretty much me solo. And then I would bring on a couple people when I needed like an extra hand as far as like another camera person or this or that.
And you said you were in film school at the time.
Yes, I was going to Brigham Young University, BYU in Provo, Utah, and I was a junior at the time. And then when everything blew up, I ended up actually dropping out my last year. I wouldn't suggest that, but that's kind of the route I took. And I've been running with it ever since.
Okay, so you were a junior when you started, and within a year it really took off?
I mean, it was almost within like the first 2 videos.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was video 2 blew up right away. When I say blow up, I uploaded it with no followers at all. First day it got like 1,000 views. The next day it got like a couple more 1,000 views. And then like 4 days into it, it was at 400,000 views. And then within a week, it was at 1 million views. And that one was, I mean, $0 budget. It was in Alpine, Utah, and they had a bike jump we built, or that was already built actually. And I just got a bunch of people, posted on Facebook, and we just got a bunch of people out there and filmed them doing this crazy stunt, launching off a bike jump into a pond, and it got a lot of views and a lot of attention.
So was it, at that time, could you monetize your channel?
I wasn't monetizing at that time. I didn't even really know that was a thing.
Yeah.
It was more of, and plus you had to have X amount of subscribers to even start that process, I believe.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any followers. It was just my mom and my dad, essentially.
So it really wasn't your intent, at least in the beginning, to make money. It was just to create cool videos.
Yep, exactly. And I've always been passionate about creating videos, whether there was money or not, and then money just happened to come through that process. But the first year, it was $0 were being made, even though we're getting a lot of views. I was essentially making money through other people seeing our videos and hiring me to do other projects.
Okay, so at what point did you realize, all right, I can do this for a career. I can actually make money here and support a family or whatever. When did you say this is going to be my job?
I don't know if I ever felt that kind of transition. It just was more of like a natural thing where it's like I was already doing film photography. I was doing people's weddings, photographing their engagements, and that process kind of shifted where I slowly stopped doing weddings and everything else and just did more things that I was really excited about instead of just kind of excited about.
Wow. Okay, so what's been your most viewed video?
Our most watched video is on Facebook, actually, and it's an Assassin's Creed parkour video, and it's running through the streets of Malta in Spain, and it's over 200 million views on Facebook. As far as YouTube, it's a similar video, Assassin's Creed as well, but a different project, different people, and that one we shot in Paris, France. This was like 5 years ago, and I want to say that one's around like 76 million views-ish on Facebook, or on YouTube, sorry.
Holy smokes, wow. So how often are you putting out new content?
Yeah, so back in the earlier days, I was putting out a video every other week, and then I was doing it every week. Then I say 2 years ago, I kind of changed things because we become a bigger production company. We're doing more projects, investing in more equipment, more people, more actors. So it's a much bigger process, so we can't put out videos as often. Now we're putting out videos about once a month to once every 3 weeks, give or take.
Were you nervous making that transition that your numbers might go down because people want to see more, or did you say this is how it's got to be?
No, it's always nerve-wracking. Anyone on social media, you're constantly dealing with numbers and views, and okay, this week it dropped, and tomorrow it might raise, and you're crossing your fingers, and then all of a sudden you're super depressed about it, and then the next day you release a video and it blows up. So it's definitely massive, like a roller coaster, up and down, and you're just kind of going with the punches. I think what it's come down to for me, as far as making me survive all that, is seeing the bigger picture as far as, okay, let's do projects that we're really excited about. They may not bring in the most views, but we feel that we're progressing as far as filmmakers and storytellers.
Oh, that's pretty cool to get to that point, because you've got to. Do you read the comments, and do you really, are you glued to those numbers, or are you kind of able to turn it off and say, this is how it's going to be?
Yeah, so every video we post, the first day, I'll read the comments, most of the comments. I'll try and respond and be engaged with all that stuff. After the first day, though, it's like I push that video to the side, and then I start focusing on the next one. But I definitely take, like, if it's a comment that just, because a lot of times YouTube can be very hateful too, where you'll do a video, you'll put your whole heart into it, and then people will just say, this sucks, this is the worst thing that I've ever seen. Those videos usually, those comments don't usually, like, at first they'll affect me for a second, but then I'll look into it and it's like, it's okay, it's a 12-year-old that just wants to complain about whatever in life. But the ones that are more thoughtful, and if it's a consistent comment, then I'll take that a lot more serious. Yeah, no, it's definitely helped me create a thicker skin, because I can take things very personal. Anyone on the internet, I think, takes things personal, because you're putting your whole heart into a project, and you'll put it out there and I'll get attacked. But that's why I think it's important to focus on things that you care about, and you're not just doing it for the views, but you're like, this is something I really care about, and this is important for me, regardless of how it performs.
I'm sure you have videos that you think are going to blow up and they bomb, and vice versa. Some you think, oh, that's not very good, and it blows up. Have you experienced that?
Every other week. Oftentimes, it's the projects I don't spend much time on that do really well, and projects I'll spend months on will not perform very well. And a big part of it too is just seeing social media trends. A couple years ago, when Pokemon Go was like the biggest thing, we put no thought into the video, but we just spent 2 days filming the video. We put it out within that week of the trend, and it ended up getting like 27 million views. Hardly any time or thought was put into it, but it was just about hitting that social media trend. So there's a lot of things at play. So
I guess you're constantly watching the trends and other channels maybe to see what they're doing, to see if you can do something similar?
Yep, definitely checking like the news. Okay, what's the big video game that's coming out this month, or what's the big sport that's coming out? Okay, the final playoff is happening this week. Let's do a video featuring this. So we're very aware of kind of current topics and trends that are happening for sure.
There has to be times where you're like, I just want to take a break. I'm burned out, but you kind of have to perform if you're on YouTube, post those videos. How do you get through those lulls?
Yeah, luckily for me now, we have our whole team now. I'd say we've had that for about 4 years, 5 years, give or take. So it's like I can be somewhere else and they could all be here. A good example is I was just in Uzbekistan in the Middle East for the last 2 weeks by myself, as far as my whole team was here working on another project while I was out there working. So we can definitely like multitask where I don't have to be doing everything 24/7, but everyone else can be helping carry that workload.
Are you able to turn it off?
No. I have to constantly be doing something. Like me and my wife went on vacation for 2 weeks to Japan. The whole time I brought my camera and I'm filming a video for our channel. For me, I love filming. Like that's part of who I am. So I'm always looking for, okay, this is interesting. This is a unique story, interesting place. So I'm always looking for those kind of opportunities.
So how many people work for you now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Around 7-ish. Kind of depends on the day. And some of our projects that we'll do, they'll involve a lot more people. So sometimes we can hire like up to 30 people for a couple of days of filming. So it kind of depends on the project. But as far as like people in our studio, 6 to 7 people based on what's going on.
And are you planning out weeks, months in advance these videos, or is it kind of, oh, let's throw this together? Like the Pokemon Go, I guess you kind of did on the fly, but...
Yeah, most of our projects are more than just a couple months process as far as planning. Like the big one we're doing right now that we're editing, we went to France, so we filmed a big World War II documentary on D-Day because it was the 75th anniversary. And that one, I mean, we have like 20 other veterans, people that have fought like in Afghanistan and all around the world. So there's so many schedules and everything to make that happen. And then we'll end up spending 3 or 4 months editing that project. And then it was just 5 months of pre-planning that project. So that one, I mean, that one's a year process.
Dude, so you're doing full-on docs. I mean, full-on specials.
That's the idea. Yeah, that one will be around 45 minutes long. So it's definitely interest. I mean, that will do more of the film festival route, I believe, and then it'll end up on YouTube more than likely. But yeah, we're just trying to expand the way we're telling stories and do more longer form content, more narrative structure content as well. Instead of just the extreme sports stuff, that's what we're known for. That's what launched our careers. But for us, that was never the end goal. It was always bigger form storytelling.
Okay, so in 5 years, where are you? In 10 years, where are you?
5 years, Netflix. 10 years, Hollywood movies.
Really? That's the goal, to be on the big screen.
That's the goal, but it's all baby steps because it's like, hey, we got to prove ourselves that we can tell good narrative stories. So I think that's kind of where we're shifting our focus right now, is doing more shorter form stories, and that will give us the bigger opportunities to do bigger, longer form content. But it's all about proving yourself. People want to know, like, not necessarily your resume, but what was the last project that you did. So we're just trying to prove ourselves. People know we can do extreme sports stuff, but can we tell a narrative story? That's kind of time will tell.
And does your wife, she's involved with you in these projects?
To a point. She's not a filmmaker, but she loves traveling. She loves it. She fully supports everything. She's been an incredible support on everything. And when I can, as often as I can, which luckily has been a lot, I bring her on as many projects as I can. That makes sense. But yeah, she's supportive.
You got married 2 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years.
And then we have a baby on the way in a couple months.
Oh, congrats.
Change things a little bit. Thank you. Yeah, that will definitely change things a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. But
boy or girl? Do you know?
Baby boy.
Baby boy. And when's the due date?
November 11th.
All right, so there's a lot of people watching that say, I can do what he does. I'm going to go launch a channel. It's not as easy as it looks, I would imagine. What's your advice?
So first thing I say is everyone is trying to be heard on social media. So the first question I'd ask is, well, what makes your voice different? A lot of people will see someone successful and they'll try and replicate what they're doing. But the thing is, you have to figure out your own voice. It's okay to kind of follow someone's example and then discover your own voice through that process. But the thing is, what makes you different than everyone else? Other big thing is consistent content. If you want to have a consistent audience, you have to have consistent content. So if you're just starting off, even for me, like I wouldn't be able to survive if we were putting out a video once a month. It's already hard as it is. But if you're putting out content every day, then that's going to increase your chances. The guy I actually just met with today, Nas Daily is his Facebook name, but he built his entire social media by uploading the last 1,000 days every day. And that's what helped him build an audience, is just by being consistent with consistent content. So that's another big thing, is just put out content all the time.
Have you found the changes with YouTube and Facebook and algorithms and monetization and all that? Does that kind of worry you a little bit?
Yeah, so algorithm definitely plays a big stake in our livelihood. It plays a bigger stake on my stress level more than anything. But with that being said, yeah, ever since the beginning, the analytics are always changing. We were killing it on Facebook a year ago, and then it was just a push of a button. Someone at Facebook changed the algorithm, and now it's a completely different game where we're trying to figure it out all over again. So it does keep you on your toes. It does get stressful, but it's about trying to just figure it out and kind of move forward with it. The good thing, though, is don't have all your eggs in one basket. As far as we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. We sell a lot of our footage that we film to 4K televisions like Samsung or Sharp. So we just have these different outlets as far as how to survive as a company in case YouTube falls apart or Facebook falls apart or social media for that matter.
You're inspiring what you've done. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to do it, but you've done it. I mean, do you ever look back and think, is this real? I mean, probably not, because you put so much work and sweat and tears into it.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, too, I didn't go to school for social media. It wasn't really a thing. I've just kind of made it up as I went along with it. And I think the biggest thing for me is I've always been creating stuff I was excited about. I don't think any of my success would have come had that not been a part of that process, because once you do something that does really well, people want you to recreate it over and over and over again. So it's also about like making sure you're doing things that you're excited about that push you. And for me, I think that's kind of where I'm at now with my career. Is I've done so many extreme sport things. Now it's like I gotta push myself in a different way that challenges me, that scares me, that excites me. But yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful for the opportunity that I've been given. I've been able to travel the entire world and work with some of my favorite brands that I grew up with that I never thought I'd be able to work with. And then they're hiring us to do these massive projects, so it's been an incredible opportunity and experience.
You've been up to Idaho?
We've done several videos in Idaho. We did a big base jumping video out there with Ford for a big Ford commercial.
Oh, wow.
So that was a fun one that we did. And we did a rope swing video out there as well.
Oh, nice. All right, man. Well, cool. Is there anything that you want to add?
No, I love what I do, and it's definitely a roller coaster. Everyone on social media, like, that I've ever worked with, like, it always looks fame and glorious, but it is like, it sucks. It's very hard. It's stressful. You're constantly getting brought down by all the comments, and it's just, everyone I've met that's succeeded in social media, they're the hardest workers that I know. And they're the ones that are going before everyone wakes up and working until everyone's already asleep. They're still up working, so just know that it is something that requires your entire heart, your entire time in your life, so. I'm
sure you've been to the YouTube conventions and where all the YouTubers get together.
I was actually the one that started all the original ones back in the day.
Oh, wow.
7 years ago. I kind of pointed out the other YouTubers and potential YouTubers in Utah, and we actually met at my friend's house, and then we started doing meetups, and I travel so much now that I haven't gone to a lot of them. I know CVX Live is the big one they have once a year where everyone kind of comes in. I think that's this month, actually. The problem now for us is we're based in Utah, but we're hardly here in Utah. So we're more kind of all over the place outside of America, for that matter.
You're kind of a pioneer, though. I mean, you started this kind of ahead of the trend, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a big part of our success as well, is essentially like the gold rush, where we were the first people in where all the gold was, and then now it's kind of just people taking in scraps and whatever's left. But we got in at a really good time. And at the time when we got in, there was a lot of YouTubers, but no one was doing high-quality productions. So that's one of the things that made us stand out.
Yeah. All right, Devin. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you making time.